definition of dreadlocks. Dreadlocks is a composition of two English words, dread and locks. The word dread means something dreadful. The word locks means something that is matted. Not what people say, that something that is for long or for locks. But I would want you to notice that the word dread has got nothing to do with locks. Its origin is when the whites are enslaved the blacks, and they started calling them dreadful people. And since the blacks had locks, therefore the people attached the word dread to locks to make the locks appear dreadful. That's the reason most of the people are against locks, because of its word dreadlocks. But yet in the Bible it's called locks, not what people call them, dreadlocks. They are not dreadlocks, they are locks. So let us prove. Purpose of the lesson to show that dreadlocks or locks are in the Bible, and that there is nothing wrong to make your hair into locks. Begin of lesson. We are going to prove to you that locks is there in the Bible, and it got nothing to do with the people who so call that they are dreadful. They are dreadful. Begin of lesson. PP 562 paragraph 2, it says the divine promise to Manoah was in due time fulfilled in the birth of a son, to whom the name of Samson was given. As the boy grew up, it became evident that he possessed extraordinary physical strength. This was not, however, as Samson and his parents well knew, dependent upon his well-knit sinews or muscles, but upon his condition as a Nazarite, of which his unshorn hair was a symbol. Here we learn that hair locks was a symbol of strength because of worshipping God to follow the Nazarite vows or rules. That was spiritually or morally reason. Another example of locks, which is biological health or mental, you will discover that the locks, they act as antenna or the externalized nervous system to help you to activate what they call the sixth sense, to make you to be aware of the environment. That's the reason those people who understand the tetrahedron or the zizis, they understand that the earth is in the tetrahedron shape and the human being. And therefore, through the frequency, we are able to connect to each other. But most of the people, they cannot understand this. Therefore, we'll go to the Bible references. What does the Bible say about locks? Let us read. Numbers chapter 6, verse 5, it records. It says, all the days of his vow of separation, no razor shall touch his head until the time is completed for which he separates himself to the Lord. It shall be holy, he shall let the locks of his head grow long. This reference, it does not say he shall let the hair to grow into locks. It says he shall let the locks of the hair of his head grow long. That's what it says. Therefore, it means that his hair is in form of locks. So the letting is to let the locks to grow. To grow what? To grow long. That's what this reference says. Another quote. Judges chapter 16 verse 13 of Samson. Then Delilah said to Samson, until now you have mocked me and taught me lies. Tell me how you might be bound. And he said to her, if you weave the 7 locks, he says weave, brother, the 7 locks. So meaning that weaving and locks are two different things. Locks are not weaves. Locks are locks, brother. It says if you weave, how can you weave the 7 locks if they are not already in locks? It says, if you weave the 7 locks of my head with the web and fasten it tight with a pin, then I shall become weak and be like any other man. So you see also that Samson had 7 locks. And these 7 locks, he lied to Delilah that Delilah was to weave these 7 locks. Okay. Another quote. Ezekiel 44 verse 20. It says, they shall not shave their heads or let their locks grow long. They shall surely trim the hair of their heads. So you see that even in the future, in Ezekiel's temple, the priests in the future, in the kingdom, in the pre-millennial kingdom, we see that the priests, they shall have what? They shall have locks. And they shall not be allowed to keep their locks grow long. But they shall do what? Only trim them. That's what we say. That's what it is recorded here in the Bible. So this you cannot refute. It cannot be argued. Another reference of the people that make bald patches of their heads. They make yubu. Leviticus 21 verse 5, it says, they shall not make bald patches on their heads, nor shave off the edges of their beards, nor make any cuttings on their body. Emphasis. They shall not make bald patches on their heads, nor shave off the edges of their beards, nor make any cuttings on their body. So the Bible is clear here that you should not make yubu. You should not also make bald patches of your head. You should also not make any cuttings in your flesh. It is clear. Nor make edges or lining of your beard. It is clear. Okay. 1 Samuel chapter 1 verse 11, it says, and she vowed a vow and said, who vowed? The mother of Samuel. And said, O Lord of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of my servant, and remember me, and not forget your servant, but will give to your servant a son, then I will give to the Lord all the days of his life, and no razor shall touch his head. So meaning Samuel had a Nazarite vow. Samuel had locks. For all Nazarites had locks. And their locks were to keep them long. No razor was to touch their locks. Another quote. Ezekiel chapter 8 verse 3. It says, he put out the form of a hand and took me by a lock of my head. And the Spirit lifted me up between earth and heaven and brought me in visions of God to Jerusalem, to the entrance of the gateway of the inner court that faces north, where was the seat of the image of jealousy which provokes to jealousy. So we see also that Ezekiel was taken by the lock of his head, meaning also he had locks. So I asked the people saying, can you mention what type of hairstyle did the Bible characters have? They failed to answer. It's locks. And the other hairstyle is yubu. And we are doing yubu, which were from reading that is forbidden. They are copying. And in some instances, when yubu was allowed, is when you are experiencing calamity. When you are experiencing tragedies in your life. Or troubles have come in your life. Yubu is a sign of calamity. It's a sign of something bad has come or befallen in your life. So the hairstyle of the people that were having in the Bible is only locks. You will not find any other hairstyle in the Bible. It's locks that you're going to find. Another quote. 2 Samuel chapter 14 verse 26 says, and when he cut the hair of his head, for at the end of every year he used to cut it. When it was heavy on him, he cut it, and he weighed the hair of his head 200 shekels by the king's weight. Who was this? This is Absalom, the son of who? Of David. He had hair, very beautiful hair. And the women used to admire. Even men used to admire. He was most beautiful man than David. That's what the Bible records. Another verse that we're going to read, it's Leviticus 19 verse 27. It says, "You shall not round off the hair on your temples or mar the edges of your beard." So even rounding or making edges of your hair, of your head, is not allowed in the Bible. Or making mar or doing the edges of your beard is not allowed in the Bible. Victor Dasho Houtif says, if you have whiskers, you should not cut your what? Your beard. That's what it says. Okay, so most of people, they don't tend to stop and think that where was he getting the idea of saying you can only cut your beard if you don't have whiskers? They don't think. Yet he was inspired and looking at the references in the Bible, particularly Leviticus chapter 27 verse 19. First Timothy chapter 2 verse 9, most of people, they quote this one. It says, "Likewise also that women should adorn themselves in respectable apparel, with modest and self-control, not with braided hair and gold or pearls or costly attire." Most of people, they take this word braid and mistake it or confuse it with locks. Okay, that's what they do. Yet when you look at the word braid, it means something that is what? That is interwoven with three tassels to lock them. But lock is simply something that is matted. Okay, let us look at it. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 14 says, "Does not nature itself teach you that if a man wears long hair is a disgrace for him?" Also, most of people confuse this one. It says long hair. I ask them a simple question. How long is long hair? Or what length is long hair? If Jesus, the Son of the living God, had hair laying by the shoulders, can you term that long hair? How long is long hair? How long was Adam's hair? Most of people, they do not think, they don't reason this one. Okay. So in Ezekiel 44 verse 20, we are from reading that the hair should not be kept long, but should be what? Should be trimmed. Not be what? Not be cut, but trimmed. So then, how long is long hair? Long hair is any hair that is beyond the hair that is expected of a male. So the male hair, we get it from the example of Christ. Christ's hair lays by the shoulders, meaning the man's hair should lay by your shoulder. Okay, simple as that, brother. That is the example. That is the example according to the Bible. So all things happened to them for our examples, for our learning, for our admonition. That's what the Bible records. Okay, another quote. Solomon had what? Had locks. It says here, it says, his head is the finest gold. His locks are wavy, black as raven. So we see also that Solomon had locks. What other references do we see here? We see also which other verses? Okay. Of orderness. 1 Corinthians chapter 14 verse 40, it says, "But all things should be done decently and in order." So most of people, they think that locks are not done decently and in order. But yet, the Bible consents them. The Bible allows them. So this verse is in order. So the locks should be done or are indecent and in order. Those people who are against them, meaning that they do not understand. They don't understand. Because the Bible must be in harmony. You should be able to reason out the Bible. You should be able to explain. The Bible explains itself. It is self-explanatory, not what you think with your senses or what the society will tell you. But you have to use the Bible the way it reads. Okay. Also we see from early writings, the goat and the sheep. It says his hair was white and curly and lay on his shoulders, and upon his head were many crowns. That is Jesus' hair. Lay by the shoulders. If you were doubting, this is the reference in early writings, page 15, paragraph 2, that his hair is what? It's curly, it's like sheep. Okay, the hair of a sheep. Then it lays by the shoulders. So if the hair of a sheep lays by the shoulders, what form is his hair? It's locks, brother. You cannot refute this. Okay. And great controversy to rescind this, it says 479 paragraph 1 says, I beheld, and says the prophet Daniel, 2 thrones were placed, and one that was ancient of days, that is the Father, did sit. His raiment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like pure wool. His throne was fury flames, and the wheels thereof burning fire. So here says the similar use, it says his head like pure wool. Okay, so meaning that his hair is like wool. The similar to liken, meaning that it is in form and texture of wool. And wool, we know what it looks like. Wool, it mats, it locks. They are locks. Okay, so the hair of the Father is not like of a goat. The hair of the Father is like of a sheep, as well from reading. So here we learn that the hair of the goat is likened to pure wool. So we know what kind of hair or fur is of a sheep, and you know what kind of hair fur is of a goat. And furthermore, neither Jesus nor Adam was white or has the hair of a goat, but they were ruddy, and their hair likened to pure wool in color and texture. That's what the Bible records. Adam, as Adam came forth from the hand of his creator, he was of noble height and of beautiful symmetry. He was more than twice as tall as men now living upon the earth, and was well proportioned, and his features were perfect and beautiful. His complexion was neither white nor shallow, but ruddy. So Adam was not white. Adam was not Caucasoid. Adam was not what? A Mongoloid. Adam was what? Was a Negro. Was ruddy. Was reddish or brownish in color. That's what we see in the Bible. Okay, in this reference, glowing with the rich tint of health, Eve was not quite as tall as Adam. Her head reached a little above his shoulders. She too was noble, perfect in symmetry, and very beautiful. Okay, Spiritual Gifts, volume 3, page 34. Finally, brother, sister, Negroid race hair is like wool, not gauze. And that locks are there in the Bible, and nothing is wrong about it. End of quote. End of presentation. Thanks.